Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Comic Book Lowdown. I'm Wellington, and today I'm going to be doing a pull week video, but this video is going to be a little different from the others. Just, first of all, I've only got 2 books to review. Everybody knows what 2 books they are. And there are going to be spoilers in this review, and both books I'm going to kind of be reviewing together because I just want to more talk about what the concept of everything that's going on has been, how this is going to affect, how this affects all Spider-Man fans as a whole. So, before making this video, I made a point to not watch anybody else's review video on Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man issue 700. And I haven't watched anybody else's videos on it, and I read this book 2 days ago now, so I can really look at this objectively. I'm not going to be so emotional about it. After reading it initially, I was kind of like upset and everything like that, but now I think I can look at it a little bit more objectively, although I still have some of my own opinions are gonna still come out. So anyways, just jump right into it. We're gonna be reviewing Amazing Spider-Man issue 700 and Avenging Spider-Man issue 15.1. So as you know, if you've been following, Dr. Octopus switched pretty much brains and souls and all that kind of stuff with Peter Parker. So now Peter Parker is in Doc Ock, and Doc Ock is in Peter Parker. And Doc Ock only has Doc Ock as Peter Parker as Doc Ock, I should say, only has moments to live. And so he's trying desperately to get back to his own body to make the body switch. But every turn that he takes, Dr. Octopus and Peter's body outmaneuvers him. No matter what he does, he's always just being beat. And so that continues for a while. This is a long book, 104 pages, something like that. And yeah, so every turn that Peter makes as Doc Ock, he always just fails. And by the end of this, Doc Ock as Peter, or as Spider-Man, pretty much has won. And but Peter's thoughts are coming out to Doc Ock, and now he's feeling all the things that Peter feels, and what makes Peter, so great, and whatever just makes Peter continue on through all those bad times that Peter ends up facing. Doc Ock is seeing what gives Peter the strength to do those things, and it's really affecting him to the point where Doc Ock now wants to carry on Peter's legacy as Spider-Man, carry on Peter's legacy as Peter Parker, and do good. And Peter Parker is pretty much encouraging Doc Ock to carry on his legacy. And then right there, the real Peter Parker in Doc Ock's body dies. And so this pretty much upset me greatly, because it's almost like good lost to evil, but like the ultimate loss, because he died, and the way he died was so not noble. Unlike the way that Peter died in like Ultimate Spider-Man, for example, fighting the Green Goblin, he beats the Green Goblin, but he loses his life in the process, but he protected everybody he needed to protect. So that is the way that if you're gonna kill Spider-Man, that's the way that he should have gone out, not the way that he did, dying in somebody else's body and nobody knowing about it. It's just a terrible way to look at it, and I was just not happy about the way that he died at all. What else? It was almost like, for me, and probably for a lot of people, Peter Parker and Spider-Man, they're our heroes. They're fictional characters, but you can look up to them. If things are bad in your life, you can read a Spider-Man comic and see that things are going bad for him, and how he overcomes, and that might even give you the willpower for you to say that I can overcome something. So now you don't have that, because Peter is always that, and he's probably the character that is most like that in all of Marvel, maybe possibly in all of comics, because he's just so willing. And now he's gone everywhere, and he won't be back for a while. So now, to get Peter Parker, you have to refer to old comics. Not old, but past comics. To, get your Peter Parker back. Because now, what Superior Spider-Man's going on and doing, and this is another spoiler, is that Doc Ock is going to go around being Peter Parker. And they preview that in Avenging Spider-Man, issue 15.1. This is written by Chris Yost, who has been writing Scarlet Spider. And for the record, both books are well written. Both books I enjoy from a writing standpoint, from an art standpoint, from a standpoint of these are good comics. Good comics are just good comics. But the story is just a kind of story that I cannot agree with, because it's just too close to me. It's just too much of an emotional impact. But objectively, both stories are well written. What makes me not want to pick up Superior Spider-Man #1 is that in Avenging Spider-Man 15.1, they pretty much give you an intro to what Superior is going to be. And at the end of Amazing, Doc Ock is pretty much had his realization that, alright, he's going to do good. And if you can accept that, then going forward, you might even be like, oh, you might even have some moments where you think that this is the real Peter Parker. But in Avenging, they distinguished that by going into detail on how Doc Ock is. It starts off with Doc Ock being happy and laughing about finally beating Peter Parker, finally beating Spider-Man, and throughout the book he eventually starts changing for his better, but for the most part he's gonna be Doc Ock, just being Doc Ock, except instead of doing evil, he's going to be doing good somewhat. So that's not really what I want to see. I want to see Peter Parker. I don't want to just see Spider-Man and whoever's in the Spider-Man suit. I want to see who belongs in that suit, and not somebody trying to be that person. You can have Miles Morales being Spider-Man, but he's not Spider-Man. He's another Spider-Man. You can have Kane being Scarlet Spider, and he tell you himself he's not Spider-Man. And you can have Doc Ock being Superior Spider-Man, but it's just not. He's wearing almost the exact same costume, and he's got way too close of a look, and he's being Peter Parker. Everybody's gonna refer to him as Peter, and so that's where I draw the line. Because he can be, if he was somebody else, if he was Octavius in a Spider-Man costume or something, in his Superior Spider-Man costume, and he was Otto Octavius, that would be one thing. But now he's Peter Parker in a Superior Spider-Man costume. So now it's not one thing, it's trying to be the same thing. And so you're giving us Spider-Man, but you're taking away Peter Parker, and without Peter Parker, you don't have the original Spider-Man. So that's where I get upset about what's going forward with Superior Spider-Man. But looking at these two books and reviewing these two books, by the merits of their writing, I definitely recommend both of them, not only because they're well written, but because they are because they're important. They're important in comics, not just in Spider-Man, but they're important all throughout comics because it's a big event. And if just so you know, you have to read Amazing Spider-Man 700 before reading Avenging, and yeah, so just if you want to pick this up, you're gonna need some money because it is $7.99. But I definitely recommend picking this up. There's a whole bunch of variant covers if you don't like this one. I was thinking about picking up a variant, but I really did just like this one. So and didn't have the Steve Ditko one anymore, so I wasn't really into much of the other variants. And this cover is just really cool. Both covers are really cool, like this. But I think this cover is really cool because you know, you see all the Spider-Man and the Venoms and the Black Suit Spider-Mans, all the middle characters, but there's little characters all throughout this red. There's 2 Carnages and there's 2 Ben Rileys. If you don't, try to find them. I found them both. For example, one Carnage is right there. You know, so I'll leave you guys to find the other ones, but I'll tell you that from that Carnage, they're all around here. Alright, so just have fun with finding those. But anyways, definitely recommend these 2 books. If you're a Spider-Man fan, you'll definitely already have them, first of all, and you'll definitely be emotionally impacted, and you'll have a choice to make whether you like the direction for Superior Spider-Man or if you're just gonna leave it at this. Me personally, I'm leaning towards leaving it at this and then just pursuing other characters until Peter comes back. In other news, that same day when I went to the comic book store, I had some good news fall into my lap, and as you guys know and seen, I had that Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus that I'm very close to finishing, first of all, so a review coming on that very soon. But I picked up the next trade, which is Ultimate Spider-Man, the 7th trade of it. This collects issues 40 to 45, and the cover price on this is $12.99, but because there's a small little crinkle that I hadn't even noticed at first, this small crinkle in the corner brought this $13 book to $5, so I can deal with the small crinkle for $5 to continue this great Ultimate Spider-Man story. In my mind, it's way good deal. It's over 50% off on a regular day. So definitely picked up a catch right here, and this is going to be continuing the Peter Parker legacy and my Spider-Man craze that I got going on. I also still have Maximum Carnage. I've only started a little bit of it, so a review will be coming on that much later. But it's looking like your next review is going to be on another omnibus review on Ultimate Spider-Man. So that's my video. I'm Wellington signing off with the Comic Book Lowdown, and I'll see you guys next time.